It's now time for NRG This Week. NRG stands for Network Referral Group. To learn more about NRG, go to their website, nrg.online. It's now time for another episode of NRG This Week.
Hey everybody, Mike Weiner, CEO of NRG, welcoming you to another episode of NRG This Week. Leon Thomas will not be with me, but it's great to be here. I'm going to introduce our guest in a couple of minutes. This Friday, we've got a really big event. It's the Spring 2026 NRG Extravaganza. We do it twice a year, March and September, and this one's going to be really special. Tawana Lowry is our keynote speaker. She'll be speaking at 3 p.m. She's been with NRG about 8 months, done over $19,000, really done well. If you're looking to network, come out to the extravaganza. You can go to my website to register. It's nrg.online. If you want to reach out to me specifically by text, 443-756-9656. My email is mike@networkreferralgroup.com. This event on Friday, it's March 6th, 12:30 to 4 o'clock. Jump in when you can. We're trying to get everyone registered ahead of time. So reach out to me. I'll give you more details. We have sponsors as well. We have 3 breakout rooms. There's going to be mega networking. You're going to be able to meet so many people in one spot. If you have a meeting with someone Friday, my recommendation, bring them out to the extravaganza. We can all meet. We can all network. We can all collaborate. I'm in my 26th year. When you come to a weekly meeting, you get 3 referrals. As soon as you join, you get 30 referrals. So we are cranking. So the gentleman I'm going to bring in has been with me several years. He's out of North Carolina. His name is John Bennett. He's a fractional CFO. So if your company's can't afford a CFO and you need a fractional, John's a great guy. He's a great resource. He and I become great friends. So I always kid Studio 54. That was big back in the 70s where disco hit. So I'm going to welcome to Studio 54 my good friend, fellow NRG member, the one, the only, John Bennett. So John, how are you today? This is Wednesday, March 4th. Had a lot of weather this year. I think you guys had a blizzard, didn't you, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we probably got 12, and some parts of the area got 18 inches of snow, which is very
unusual. You got more snow than Maryland.
Yeah, sure did.
That's awesome. So, John, it's great to have you here. I had you out here about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Take 2-3 minutes, talk about. People don't really know what a fractional CFO is. So take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, talk about that, and then we'll go from there. So it's great to have you here again.
Oh, that's great. Just as a recap, the company is called Fractional Management Consulting. And actually, to that extent, we do a little bit more than just CFO work. We do Chief Operating Officer, Chief Revenue Officer. In other words, basically, we understand the full elements of the C-suite within a company. And a lot of our clients are really smart people. They've got a business, but they really don't understand the nuances of managing a business. That's not their forte. And so what we will do is take my extensive experience running companies, and I will come in and I will work with them to help them develop best practices, help them develop a repeatable business process, talk to them about delegate management or leadership within the companies, and basically provide them a longer term plan with it's got budgets and it's got accountability and everything that they do. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. We've been doing this for, like I said, about 8 years now, and we've worked in a variety of different businesses. We are one of Mike's favorite words is we're agnostic to the type of business. That being said, I've worked in construction, I've worked in trucking, I've worked in cybersecurity, retail, aviation software, food industry, architectural services, and the list goes on from there. You find out the same business, I mean, the different businesses all pretty much have the same problems. And what our goal is to understand what the pain points are and then help them to develop a solution. My background includes, like I said, 25 to 30 years. I was with GE Capital, GE, Media General, Eurofin Scientific, Store Communications, and I've owned two businesses so far. And so I understand getting in the weeds, but I also understand what the regiment of solid business practice is.
Awesome, John. You have worked in so many different industries over the last 8 years. What is an industry that you haven't really worked in yet that you would love to work in, or maybe you've worked in it, with one or two clients? What we got people watching this, John. This is live and it's being recorded. People may see this on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Facebook. They can see this, John, in a day, a week, a month, the year 2030, the year 2035. We don't know. So, John, what are maybe one or two industries you would like to work with? So if someone's watching, they're like, oh my God, I need John's help, and they can reach out to you.
Actually, that's one of the beauties of what I do. Every day with every client is different. Something comes up that we're addressing, but then every client is different, and every client has their own idiosyncrasies within that particular company. So it's very exciting. If I was going to choose, well, that's a tough one. I knew nothing about trucking, and I found it to be a fascinating industry, and we were able to deliver some amazing results for this particular client of ours. Then I've been in construction, where we've worked in that industry, and the client I worked with was actually making no money in that business. And literally 3 years later, he made a $500,000 profit. It was just organizing it. I've worked with startups. How do we take this thing to market? I've got a client right now that's in the food industry, and they're doing well. But as he says, I do it because I understand this space, but I don't understand business. If I was going to catch it down, I'd probably say more construction. Service industries are a blast. I work with architectural services. Go figure. And then also and cybersecurity.
Okay.
Again, it comes down to people realizing this is a business. You've got to make smart decisions so that when you price a product, when you spend time on a product, it's got to be worth your time to do it. You can put too much effort into a product and build good, but you're not making any money. So you've got to have that return. And that's what it all comes down to. And the way you get that is by developing the data that you can look at on a monthly basis, compare it with what you think is going to happen, and how do we correct what we're getting from what we hoped would happen.
So, John, you said something that reminded me of Shark Tank. You helped a construction company go from 0 to $500,000 without giving away the farm. What is one thing that you were able to do for that company? Because when I think of you, I think of you going in, analyzing their books, maybe rearranging employees, changing the mindset, the strategy. What's just one thing, just kind of tease us, that you were able to do to go in there and help them? Because that's a phenomenal job. That reminds me of like a Shark Tank. That's like what Mark Cuban does or Mr. Wonderful. But what's one thing that you were able to do to get them from, I find it fascinating, 0 to $500,000?
Oh yeah, it was staggering results. One of the first things we do is we go in and again diagnose the issue that they're having, and then we go and take a look at their financial statements and see what they've got. And most of the time, they don't have very good reporting, so they don't know what's happening within their own company. So now we rearrange things a little bit and say, now look at the way we're going to look at this from now on. And then we sit there and spend time with the client and we say, let's talk about budgets. And a budget is nothing more than your best guess of what you think is going to happen. That's all it is. It's nothing fancy. but the more time you put on that budget, the more accurate that's going to be. So I think we're billing $1 million this year. We're going to do 1.25 next year. My question would be, why do you think that? And I challenge it. And then we take a look at their expenses. Oh, we're going to double our revenues. Well, you do realize you've got to advertise a lot to be able to do that, unless you have the goal, some golden goose. But then also that changes the cost structure inside your company. Now, once we get during the year, we will sit there and review the financial statements on a monthly basis. And we can look and see where we see variations from what we thought were going to happen. And most of the time, that's talking about not the dollars, but the percentage differences. And what are we expecting? And it allowed us to see on this particular client, he thought he was pulling the 32% profit margin. That's what we pull all the time. Well, it turned out it was 27%. Then I had to remind him, you've got a 10% commissioned employee on top of that. So now it's down to 17%. And once we knew his fixed costs, it was down to 14.5% on the fixed cost. He only made 3 cents on every dollar he sold.
Wow. That's amazing.
And that's what he began to realize. Also, we built out the cost of his models when he would quote a job. So you could easily figure out what's the cost structure going to be so you could do your pricing. I've done the same thing, believe it or not, with synthetic DNA.
Wow. That's some amazing work you're doing, John. So John's information is here on the screen. Definitely reach out to John. He's a great guy. Can I ask you one more question, and we're going to take a break? A couple of years ago, you were introduced to Mike Weiner. Someone said, you got to come to NRG. You're like, what? It's another networking group. I've been in networking groups. I've been in chambers. I'll go. So you came to the meeting. If I don't recall, you joined immediately, if I recall. For our viewing audience, people are looking at this again. Could be now, could be a year, could be 3 years. John, I have people that have had no luck in networking groups. I've got people that don't even know what a networking group is. College kids are coming out. What advice would you give to someone as far as NRG? You always do a great job when I ask you for a testimonial when we have new folks there. So go ahead and share your testimonial, and then we'll take a commercial break.
First of all, let me say for your viewers, I'm not an easy sell. I've been around the block. I've heard it all, and I just don't get sold easily. But at the time I was introduced to NRG, I was actually president of the Chamber of Commerce where I live, their leads group. And it was run really well. And I've been in the group for about 2 or 3 years. In those groups, you meet the same people every 2 or 3 weeks. And after a while, they're not bringing you any business. Everybody knows what everybody does, and they're not very fruitful. Well, one of the participants in that group said, you need to come. I'm members of another leads group. Come join us for a day. And so it was online. So I sat there, gave some time to it. I sat in on it. The beauty of what you've got, Mike, and I still believe this, is you have 32 of these meetings a week. And you're doing North Carolina, you're doing Washington State, you're doing North Texas, you're doing South Texas, you're doing New York. And guess what? I have met so many people around the country and people in the same business as myself. And guess what? I love talking to them because guess what? We can help each other out. And that is what your group brings. So if somebody wants to be able to expand the audience of those people we'll talk to, this is a great vehicle for it. Now, not everybody you're going to talk to is going to be that prized goose. It's not. I mean, you're going to talk to people and go, okay, this is a nice person to know, but I'm not going to do business. But there are a lot of other people that I rank them as a 5 or 4 or 3, and that's really good in my book. And so, yeah, that's what somebody should be looking for, is the ability to expand their sphere of influence.
Appreciate it, John. Thank you very much. That was an awesome testimony. So we are going to take a commercial break. On the flip side, we're going to talk more with my guest today at NRG this week, the one, the only, the amazing John Bennett. We will be right back after this commercial break.
At Rod's Car Repairs, we work on all cars, old cars, new cars, and your car. Car Repairs by Rod.I.
Baked by Brianna has been your Baltimore hometown bakery since 1969. Located in Roxton Plaza, Baked by Brianna. Visit bakedbybrianna.io.
From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What will we do without it?
I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. Podcast, virtual events, webinars, streaming shows, and so much more. We want to be your partner in all things virtual.
Hey, Mike Winger back at NRG this week with the one, the only John Bennett. So, John, we've talked a lot about what you do. I'm going to ask you my favorite question. What is one thing I have not asked you that you'd like to take the next 2 or 3 minutes to talk about? It can be you. It can be about your business, maybe something I didn't delve into. Could be something about a hobby that you do. You and I have gotten to know each other pretty well. We almost met last year. Didn't quite work out, but what's one thing you would like to take a couple of minutes and talk about?
And whose fault was that?
That was neither one of us. How's that?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, actually, I'm fortunate because I do what I enjoy doing. When I was younger, a kid, I always wondered how businesses made money. You talk to somebody and you say, well, how's business? Oh, it did well this year, or we're up a little bit or down a little bit. And it was like, what is that magic sauce? How do you know this? You know, sure, you got revenues coming in and expenses, but how do you accumulate all this information? And so as such, I studied the financial side when I was in college, and I got out. I was very fortunate because I was the guy that I just raised my hand all the time and said, give it to me, I'll take care of it. And then when I was working for some of these companies, they took notice and they gave me the opportunity to grow in the business. And in growing in the business, they moved us to California, they moved us to Puerto Rico, they moved us, Texas and other places. And so we got a very diverse environment to be able to work in. And every place is the same, but every place is different. And you have to be quiet and listen to what people are telling you before you start, changing things to mark your turf. But that being said, I've also worked in multiple industries that brings out a rounding of one's abilities. Like I've mentioned earlier, I've been in the manufacturing side. I've been in the media side, running television stations, large operations. I work for a company that produced synthetic DNA. Yep, they can really make that stuff.
Wow.
And, then I've owned 2 businesses so far. And that is what I bring to my clients. And, the diversity of exposure, we've been fortunate that the company moved us around so we could be exposed to different cultures, different, types and styles of people, and realizing that we're all the same, everybody's the same, and businesses are the same, and the towns are the same. but everybody's a little bit different. And that's the magic of it all. That's what I got to say there, Mike. How about that?
Very cool. I love it. I love it. Love it. John, we were talking a drop about leadership before the show. You've worked with so many businesses. What would you say, you could do one or two, what would you say is the top one or two characteristics, traits of a successful business owner? Is it energy? Is it intelligence? It can't be just good looks, right? Because you and I got that. We got that.
We got that covered, man.
We got that covered, my friend. What do you think is the top one or two characteristics of all the successful business people you've worked with? I've never asked that question, but you're working with so many, and people want to know. They're hungry. A lot of people want to run their own show. The newer generation, they don't want to work for somebody. They want to run their own show. So what would you say are the top one or two characteristics of most successful business owners? That's a tough question.
No, it's not. No, it's not. First of all, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't try to do it on your own. Yes, you don't have to hire every consultant you see. That'll be the kiss of death. But what you do want to do is don't forget to ask people, what are your thoughts? But here's this. I'm going to share this with you. Leaders start with the customer and work backwards. Customer. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. Although leaders pay attention to the competitors, they obsess over their customers. You've got to get the customers. You've got to care about the customer and realize that the old adage of the customer is always right. Yeah, they probably aren't, but and you can't challenge them on that. Also, leaders think long-term and don't sacrifice long-term value for short-term results. Think about what companies are doing today that are counterproductive. They're worried about the financial statements for this quarter. Large companies, they're worried about it for this year. They're not looking long-term. I remember seeing the acquisition by Columbia Pictures by Sony back years and years ago. That next year, the movie industry fell apart. And somebody asked Sony, what do you think of your industry now buying into the movie industry? And they said, we didn't buy this for a short-term investment. Our eyes are down the road. This is okay. We can afford it. And they did. And Sony, they've owned Columbia Pictures for years. Also, leaders expect and require innovation and invention from their teams, and always find a way to simplify something. Don't overcomplex things. I find so many companies I've walked into, a couple of things. One, somebody at some time in life wanted this report, and they produced this report, and somebody is putting a ton of effort in building it. They send the report out to everybody, and nobody's looking at it. Well, if nobody's looking at it, quit doing it. The shortest way to get to something is the most efficient way. What can we trim down? How can we make it shorter, faster, better? They are externally aware, looking for new ideas from everywhere, and are not limited to it was invented here. Plagiarism is the best compliment you can get. If people are, and I'll tell you this, I share with people, you need to know what your competition is doing. Know who's knocking it out of the park, and know who is struggling. Not because you're going to attack them, but you want to emulate the ones that are doing well, but think about what are they missing? And can we do that to be able to get some market share? So it's always looking at the competition.
John, that was great stuff. Thank you very much. That was awesome. All right, we're going to talk sports. We're going to wrap up with sports, and then I'm going to talk about extravaganza for a minute. What's your favorite baseball or football team? I think I already know the answer, but let's talk sports.
I can't say Skins anymore, can I? I've got to say I can't say the Redskins.
You know what? I don't like the Commanders. I like Redskins. I'm in Baltimore, so I was a Colts fan.
Alternatives cover Skins. Okay. But no, the Redskins. And I'm originally from Georgia, and so everybody in Georgia followed the Falcons, and so
Have you seen that stadium in Atlanta, Mercedes Stadium, John?
Oh yeah.
My oldest son went to college in Atlanta, and we were there, and I think it was 2014, 2016, and they were just building it. It's beautiful. I
That's
haven't
a
been
beast.
in, but I've seen it from the outside. So
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I've actually taken people to the World Series in Atlanta, and that was all exciting too. So yeah, I get involved. I mean, I don't get involved in it because I'm just too damn busy. But football, baseball, I enjoy that. Somebody asked me about hockey earlier, but
jaded, yeah.
I'm in North Carolina, so we don't really follow it that hard. But when I was in when I was in El Paso, Texas, the desert town, they had the El Paso Buzzards, and I was sitting there thinking, if you can have an ice hockey team in El Paso, you can have an
Wow.
ice hockey team anywhere.
That's cool. John, it has been awesome having you on the show again. I will see you probably tomorrow or Friday. Actually, we don't have meetings tomorrow.
I was going to say you don't have meetings tomorrow or
That's
Friday, but the
extravaganza
is a
Friday.
big jewel.
Awesome. Well, John, thank you for being here. I'm going to wrap up. We're going to talk about the extravaganza for a minute. Friday, March 6th, you want to be there, 12:30 to 4. It's going to be amazing. We've got a keynote speaker, Tawana, corporate sponsors, breakout rooms, mega networking tips, sales tips. You're going to meet members. You're going to meet non-members. You want to be there, reach out to me, nrg.online. My email is mike@networkreferralgroup.com. Cell number 443. This is my favorite place for you to reach me, 756-9656. I want to say shout out to Leon Thomas. Miss you here. We'll see you next week. Probably see you at the extravaganza. For all you watching, please jump in and join us. I'm going to sign off. Mike Weiner, another episode of NRG this week. See you next week.